Twice a week. Don't buy your own home.
I'm not sure if it's gonna be.
The good guy?
No.
Well,
He's out of commission.
oh, yeah. What?
And hang bread on the common fence.
Birthday party last weekend. Or this week.
Oh, that is so old.
Did you go? Oh. We didn't go.
Yeah,
I'm sure I got one.
Got it?
So when my brother had his 80th birthday party, Dad brought Chad, so he brings Chad to
Baby, that's dad?
Oh, that's
No, Martin said.
So the neighbor, when you were trying to sell him something,
I didn't know.
he paid for the basket.
Catholic Church in Canada. God goes vacation. Not very often. Yeah, on the west side of the freeway. It's Chinese and Catholic Church, they're still on.
And then he's got one on, he still has the one, right?
He's still healthy in the middle of
Learning with his cat. He still goes to Stanford. You better than me.
I called last night. No.
I saw him the other day.
I talked to the stepdaughter.
Yeah.
And she didn't get it for me. She just kept on up.
Probably in the background.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he's still alive. He's still alive.
Barely. He doesn't see for me. Yeah. Here.
Look at
I
that.
don't know.
It's the home though.
You gotta stay over there. Talked to my sister yesterday. Here, there.
you know, we got special permission from Kojima Sensei to do this. Normally, it's done by the minister. What else? So I'd like to, because it's a Renyo Shonin memorial, as you might know, rest of the world, Japan does the Renyo Shonin memorial in May, and that's when he died. But we're probably the only one that is different. We do it in August, simply because it's convenient for us. But you know, it's our people, we get to set the rules. So Renyo Shonin, here you read on the back, little explanation of his life. This is probably one of the most important persons in our faith. When he started, the Joshinshu sect was almost near death. It was ready to fold and die. But once he took over, within his lifetime, our sect became the biggest in Japan. So quite an accomplishment. And you know, we'll be reading some of his Gobun-sho, and I want to start out with one of his Gobun-sho. It's a little bit long, so please bear with me. So this is regarding renouncing the world and awakening the body mind. The basic teaching of Shinran Shonin in our tradition is not primarily that you should renounce the world and awaken the body mind, or leave home and abandon worldly desires, but simply that in settling the entrusting heart of other power through taking refuge in Amida in a single thought moment, there is no distinction between man and woman, old and young. Attaining the entrusting heart is described in the larger sutra as immediately attaining the state in which one's birth is assured, and thus dwelling in the stage of non-retrogression, and is referred to in the commentary as upon awakening a single thought of entrusting, one joins those who are in the stage of the truly settled. This is the teaching of not expecting to see Amida come to welcome one at the time of death, and settling the cause of birth in everyday life. It is said in a hymn, we who aspire for Amida's fulfilled land, though we differ in our outward condition and conduct, should truly receive the name of the primal vow and never forget it, whether waking or sleeping. Concerning outward condition and conduct, no discrimination is made between lay people and monks, men and women. Next, should truly receive the name of primal vow and never forget it, whether waking or sleeping, means that it does not matter whatever your outward appearance may be, and even if you have committed the 10 evil acts and the 5 grave offenses and have slandered the Dharma, or are lacking the seed of Buddhahood. If you have a change of heart and feel repentant and deeply realize that the primal vow of Amida Tathagata saves such worthless people like us, single-heartedly entrusting yourself to the Tathagata and always being mindful of this, whether awake or asleep, then you are called to practice with the entrusting heart, who have attained the definitely settled mind through reliance on the primal vow. Beyond this, whenever you say the name Buddha, whether walking, standing, sitting, or lying down, you should remember that this is the name Buddha to express your gratitude for the benevolence of Amida Tathagata. Then you are called practicers who have attained the true and trusting heart and whose birth has been settled. Humbly and respectfully, he adds here, the sweat streaming down my face on this hot day is indeed tears. The smudged brushwork, how strange this must look. On 18th day of 7th month, 3rd year of Buddha, 1471. So this is one of the example of many Golden Show letters that he sent to many disciples and temples. So please join me in Gasho. So we will do some visual page 24 like usual, followed by some visual on page 79. We'll do the Washoko reading after the sutra chanting, and we'll call out the names for the people to do Washoko.
After I read these names, I will call out the Shotsuki families. Manki Abe, Ukichi Katanaga, Tetsuya Uto, Tsugio Inoue, Satsu Ikeda, Ryoko Ichikawa Akebe, Mitsuko Osugi, Masae Kondo, Toshiko T. Sagasegawa, Tomoyuki Okamoto, Toshimitsu Kuramura, Yoshiko Kaneshiro, Masanori Ohata, Tomoko Baba, Miya Oshita, Misao Kawahira, Suzue Oyama, Jo Eiji Yoshimura, and Tsuyoshi Bunden. I will now read the names of the families observing Shotsuki in August. Mr. and Mrs. Mark Amiya, Mr. and Mrs. Kenichi Bunden, Mr. Ryoji Bunden, Mrs. Carol Cisneros, Mrs. Hisako Dairokuno, Mr. and Mrs. George Katanaga, Mr. and Mrs. Akira Kawahira, Mrs. Reiko Ohara, Mr. Corey Kubota, Mr. and Mrs. Mitsumori Kuramura, Mr. Toshitsugu Kuramura, Mr. and Mrs. Kahei Kyutoku, Mrs. Noriko Bunden Lord, Mr. and Mrs. Yoshifumi Matsuno, Mr. and Mrs. Yoshito Matsuno, Mr. and Mrs. Yoji Onitsuka, Mr. and Mrs. Frank Osugi, Mr. and Mrs. Larry Tokiwa, Mr. and Mrs. Ted Uchida, Mrs. Atsuko Yamaguchi, Mr. and Mrs. Tadashi Yamaguchi, Mrs. Kazuko Iwamitsu, and Mr. and Mrs. Don Nishimura. If there are any other members who would like to shoko to honor their family members or friends, please come up to shoko now. Thank you very much. We will now have Ganga Namo Amida Butsu on page 174. Please rise. We will now have a reading of the Threefold Refuge on page 10. Difficult is it to receive a human form. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha. Now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we together with all sentient beings awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we together with all sentient beings enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we together with all sentient beings become units in true accord, in harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Please be seated. We will now have Oshoko by temple representatives. Salinas Dharma School and Salinas YMCA. Salinas Buddhist Women's Association. And Buddhist Temple of Salinas. Thank you very much. We will now have an introduction of our special guest speaker by Tom Yamashita.
So again, we're privileged to have Sensei Koichi Mizushima. He comes to us from Sacramento, and he's been a long time member of that temple, member of their board of directors, minister's assistant, and the youth leader for junior YBA and the YBA. He's also been on the staff of the BCA for many years, as most recently as the minister's BCA group benefits coordinator, and also as with the Center of Buddhist Education as their youth coordinator and program assistant. He has boundless energy. I've seen him in action, and it's just amazing. And he's been running a retreat for young people for many years. And he's a graduate of UC Davis, majored in management economics. And I also understand that he's an excellent cook. And he's ran one or two, maybe two restaurants early in his career. So very interesting person indeed. So look forward to hearing his talk.
Thank you very much for that very nice introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. This is my, I'm saying first visit to Salinas Temple, but I think I've been here back when I was a junior YBA participant for a volleyball conference. So that might have been, maybe 35, 40 years ago. So let's just call this my first visit. How's that? We'll call it my first visit. So it's such a wonderful pleasure and honor to be here with all of you this afternoon. So thank you for coming this afternoon, right? I know this is a little change in your schedule, is that correct? Yeah, so thank you for coming. Did you all recently have your Obon Dance Festival? Do you combine your Obon and the Food Sales Festival? Combine? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Sacramento, we do Obon dancing in July, and then we do our food and cultural bazaar in August. So we actually separate the two events, and we just completed that last weekend. And somehow I got roped into being the bazaar co-chairperson. I don't know how that happened. So it's a lot of work. But everybody here knows, right? Everybody does everything here, huh? It's interesting. I love coming to different temples. What I'm going to start doing is creating a little button here because everybody sits in the back. So I'm going to push a button. You guys can all move forward. Anyway, but yeah, you know, Obon, as you know, is very parallel to what we are doing today. Right? Today is we call it our Shotsuki, right? Our monthly memorial service. It's a time that we take out of our busy days, our busy lives, to remember all of those who existed before us. All of those people who made our lives possible today. And not just the ones you're related to, that's obvious, right? If your mother and father were born, you wouldn't be born, right? Your grandparents weren't born, they wouldn't be born. That's a very obvious connection, right? But think about all the people that maybe you don't even know that contributed to your existence today, right? There are countless and countless number of people. So that's what we like to think about at this time as well. I don't know about you, but you know, you mentioned I'm from Sacramento, right? Does everybody know how hot it is in Sacramento? Yes, somebody said 100, yes. So we waited for our bazaar. I don't know why we do it in August. I don't know why. I want to change it. I'm bazaar co-chair. I can change it. Oh, this is being recorded. Okay, we're going to change it. But the Saturday before was like 86, and then bazaar day 102, and then the Saturday after was 86, 87. So I couldn't believe it. We had such interesting luck, you know. But everybody still came together. We made it a good event. We tried our best not to moku too much, and we all survived. And only 3 people passed out at that time, so it's not bad. If it's under 5, it's a successful year. Jeez. But you know, like I mentioned, Obon is before. You know, we do our Obon separate. And although Obon also is a time, right, that we celebrate and we remember those who have come before us. What I love about Obon is, do people come back home for Obon? Like students and like people that have moved away? Obon for me is a wonderful time when people that you haven't seen maybe throughout the entire year or even several years, like they'll come back into town because they know Obon's coming. And it was something that they remember from their childhood or even in their adulthood. But Obon is something they remember. The dancing, the field, the summer night. I don't know if you have shave ice. We have our shave ice, right? Our junior IB does it. But it's a time when people return home and come back. So that part to me is just as important, is just as impactful as remembering those who passed. It's remembering those who are still here now that aren't around every day. They return back. And it's funny because I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't know if this is a YouTube crowd here, but does everybody know who Denzel Washington is? Mm-hmm. You know Denzel, okay, right? Famous actor. I watched a lot of YouTube and I came across this clip with Denzel Washington. And he was being interviewed by this young lady, and she was like, "Oh, what contributed to your success and who you are, what shaped your attitude?" And she was interviewing him. And you know, Denzel now, right? That guy's a veteran, Academy Award-winning actor, and he's gotten older now, so he just doesn't care anymore. You know, he's just dropping the knowledge. So he looked at her and he just said, "Look, don't rely on social media. Put it down. Shut it off. Shut up. Be quiet. Learn. Read. Relax. And get better. The first part of your life, you'll learn. Second part of your life, you earn. And the third part of your life, you return." And then she looked at him and said, "Can you be my therapist?" And he's all, "I already am." Right? And that was his yes. Those that know Denzel, you can see him say it, right? He just dropped that knowledge on her. But I'll tell you what, that little YouTube clip which is going around, I loved it. I loved it. It actually really struck something inside of me that was deeply Buddhist and even Shinshu, because it was about that learn, the earn, but that most important part about return. You don't hear too many people talk about that, right? Famous people, wealthy people, successful people. You don't hear too much about that, right? You hear the part they say, you got to work hard, you got to dedicate, da 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 da. But they don't talk about that last part after you get to where you're going or got what you got to return. And that's part of what we talk about in Buddhism. Does everybody know what a bodhisattva is, right? Bodhisattva is one who is on that path to the attainment of enlightenment. Right there. Right at the finish line. Right at the goal to attain enlightenment. However, before crossing over into that other shore or into that state of enlightenment, before crossing over, the bodhisattva says, wait a minute, I'm not going to walk through those doors. I'm going to turn around and hold my hand out and help others walk through that door. I'm going to help other people achieve their enlightenment, their understanding. And that is, to me, a really beautiful, beautiful part of our tradition. And I don't want to compare us to anyone else. I'm not educated enough to compare myself to other religions. But my understanding of other religious practices is it's your own personal goal to get to where you need to be, right? Whether it's whatever they call it, right? I don't even want to say names, but it's their personal goal to achieve. But here, with our stories and our traditions, the greatest people that we remember and we think about and we talk about are the ones that guide others. It's not just their personal achievement of that goal, but they stopped and guided others. And admittedly, I did not know today was your Daniel Shoni Memorial Service, as you were emailed, sent to know. However, this comes right into this talk today. This applies. And as you mentioned, Daniel Shoni, for those that don't know, is the 8th patriarch, right? So the eighth generation down from our founder, right? Shinran Shoni, right? But why is Daniel up here on our altar? Why is Daniel even talked about? Well, as Tom mentioned, Buddhism, when Shinran didn't even know it was happening, right? To be honest, Shinran passed away, and this was passed on after his death, and it kept on trying to sustain at a time when Japan was going through a lot of trials and tribulations and challenges, right? A lot of famine, a lot of things were happening. So Buddhism wasn't necessarily doing too well. It was, as you mentioned, it was down in the lower part. Not many people were interested. And then this person, Daniel, comes along, right? Who's a very interesting fellow in his own right. But I think Daniel created the resurgence of Jodo Shinshu. Daniel brought it back. But I think the reason he brought it back is because he did it in a way that was easy for people to understand. And we mentioned Gobunsho, right? Those are Daniel's letters. So Daniel did a lot of letter writing, and that's where a lot of the teachings and the sharings came from. That's kind of my style. I'm very conversational, right? People are getting timid. I'm talking to you. But Daniel did it more conversationally, right? And it wasn't this far-off, difficult academic thing to understand or something that I wouldn't be able to do. Daniel was a regular person writing regular letters to regular people, and I think that's what made it more popular, and that's what made it really catch on with a lot of people. So that's something I would like to encourage all of us to do. Don't look at Shinshu as this mystical, far-off thing that's too hard to understand or too hard to grasp. It is difficult to master and practice for a lifetime, but it's not too hard. I believe it's simple in its understanding, in its practice, and its teachings. It's very simple and easy to share and understand. So I want all of us to do that. I get distracted very easy. Michael, when you played the Gatha, we sang Nam Mami Namaste today, right? I didn't realize that there was a vocal on the track, right? So I thought George was singing that song. Like, when life is fair. I said, George, you got a beautiful voice there. Okay. See, I get distracted. I'm sorry. But anyway, have you heard this story before? In this spirit, as I'm talking to you today about remembering others and helping others, right? Don't just help yourself, help others. This reminded me of another this is one of my favorite stories. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but it's about this farmer who grew this blue ribbon, award-winning corn that he would, enter into the state fair competitions and stuff like that. So this farmer would win year after year. So a reporter finally went down to the farm. They said, we'd love to interview you. I want to know your secret. What's going on with your prize-winning corn, right? So she went over there, and she discovered something very, very interesting about this farmer. She said to him, what's your secret? And the farmer says, hey, he shares his prize-winning seeds with all of his neighboring farms and farmers. And the reporter says to him, how can you afford to share your best seed with your neighbors when they're competing against you? right? We're competing against each other each year. So how can you share your seed? And the farmer says, well, don't you know? The wind picks up pollen from the ripening corn and swirls it from field to field. If my neighbors grow inferior corn, cross-pollination will steadily degrade the quality of my corn. If I am to grow good corn, I must help my neighbors grow good corn. This is an agricultural community, right? Historically, so this hits home for you guys. This is perfect. I didn't even think about that when I thought this story, but it's a wonderful example of, like, you know, in today's world, we tend to be very self-focused. I gotta do what's right for me. I gotta do my best. And you think by you excelling, you have to push somebody down sometimes. You think of that. But how wonderful is it to say, for me to do well, I must help others do well. And in turn, it will all come back together. And we will all do well. We will all do better. I just think it's such a beautiful, beautiful story. And it's a beautiful way to think. And it's a beautiful attitude to have. We need to do more of this. And there was a psychological study when we talked about happiness and how to achieve happiness, right? You are most happy, or maybe not even most happy, but the most lasting, deep happiness actually occurs in your life when you are making somebody else happy. You know, and we never stop and think about that. But the most selfless acts of dana and care are actually the ones that satisfy you much deeper and much longer. When you go for those short-term happinesses, I mean, I ordered something on Amazon just before I came here. Oh, terrible. You know, but you get your little gift, you open your box, yay, you're happy. Only for a little moment, right? Until the next newer model comes out. The next flashy thing comes out. Right now, there's that little panda. Have you seen it on the internet? There's a little panda, this AI panda, and you pet it, and it goes, anyway. But those kinds of happinesses are much more shallow, right? But when you do something to truly make another person or human being truly happy and you recognize their happiness, that happiness that you get from that, even though it was unintentional, runs much more deeper. So this is part of our Joshi practice, right? The helping of others, the return part. So that's what I really love, and I hope you watch that Denzel Washington clip sometime and you see him talking. I think it's great. So this will conclude my talk, but hopefully I'll be here after if anybody wants to chat or share. I love hearing the connections. Every temple I go to, there's connections. I had one of the granddaughters, I chaperoned her on the last year's Japan trip to Yavixi. We have people that are related to people in Sacramento, so we're all so connected, and it's wonderful to be a part of this wonderful BCA community. So please join me in that question. The goal of a Buddhist is not only to attain enlightenment for oneself, but it is to help others to the Pure Land. The first part of your life you learn, the second part of your life you earn, and the third part of your life you return. Namo Amidavas. Namo Amidavas. Namo Amidavas. Namo Amidavas.
That was much more interesting than draft talks that we do, huh? So we should do this more often. So in keeping with Renyo Shin's memorial, it's customary to read the provincial, and we have two in the our book. So I'm going to read the Shonin Ichibu no Sho, which is a chapter on the teaching of Shinran Shonin, page 140 and 141. Shinran Shonin taught that the essence of Jodo Shinshu is Shinjin. The reason is that by abandoning all other practices and completely entrusting ourselves in Amida Buddha, our spiritual rebirth is assured by Amida through the inconceivable power of the primal vow. This is known as entering the ranks of the truly assured at the very moment of Shinjin. Thereafter, all utterances of the Nembutsu should be understood only as expression of gratitude for Amida's assurance of our spiritual rebirth. With reverence, I remain. Shonin Ichiryu no Sho. Shonin Ichiryu no Gokanke no Omobuki wa Shinjin o motte honto serabe soro. Sono yue wa moro moro no zogyo o nagesukete isshin ni midani kimyo sueba. Fukai shigi no ganriki to shite uki no akayari ojo wa chijo seshimeta mo. Sono kurai o ichine uboki gyu shoujo shiju tomo shakushi. Sono ue no shomyo nenbutsu wa norai waga ojo o sadame tameishi. Gon hojin no nenbutsu kokoro dekinari. Anakashiko, anakashiko. 一緒に言いましょうね。ナマミダブス。ナマミダブス。So we'll move on to announcements. So coming up in September 13th, Saturday, we have the Tri-Temple Seminar. This with Reverend Akahoshi at Mantori Temple starting at 11 a.m. There will be lunch following that, so you could sign up for that, and I believe it's going to be at Targus. And September 14th, following day, Sunday, will be our Ohigan and September Shotsuki Service, again with Reverend Akahoshi, and this will be at 1 p.m. September 20th, Saturday, is Tri-Temple Coastal Cleanup. This is an annual thing at Masalani Beach, 9 a.m. And I will do my tailgate. We'll be serving hot dogs and smash burgers, so please come by to help out. And then September 21, we'll have the Keirokai luncheon starting at noon. This will be following the regular service will be done by us anyways. So next we'll finish with the Gata Ondoku-san 2 on page 220. Should we entrust ourselves to Amida to attain birth in the fulfilled land? what is meant by directing of virtues to sentient beings. Because it is through Amida's Dharma, that the sentient beings who rely on Buddha are liberated, we say that Namo Amida Butsu represents the unity of beings and the Dharma. You should bear in mind that this itself, the entrusting heart of the other power that assures our birth. Humbly and respectfully, I wrote this on 25th day of 5th month, 6th year of May of 1497. Please join me in Gasho. Namami Dabusu. Okay, please be seated. So again, I'd like to thank your sensei, Koichi Mizushima for his Dharma talk. We have following people that donated or tonight for donation: fruits from Mr. and Mrs. Tsuruku Yamada, sweets from Mrs. Atsuko Yamaguchi, and following date members donated refreshments for Otoki: Mr. and Mrs. Markamiya, Mr. and Mrs. Akira Kawahira, Mr. and Mrs. Dayo Shimura, Mr. Miguel Corres, Mr. and Mrs. Kahei Kyutoku, and Mr. and Mrs. Larry Tokiwa. Thank you very much. So this concludes the service for today. And again, thank you for your attendance. So please come up and do a shoko, and we have refreshments in the classroom. Thank you very much.
Arrested now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, they're over there kind of. Yeah, kind of.